I love the movie. I was just speaking to Jim about it and told him that. And congratulations on the award last night. I'm going to begin by asking about how you guys first met. How did this kind of collaboration first begin?
I first met David. I saw him do stand-up maybe 10, 12 years ago, something like that. And we sort of met through the stand-up scene. And then David actually did a Brian Gittings pilot TV show that I ended up auditioning for, and I was in it. So we kind of got to know each other through that. We lived near each other at the time, so we just started hanging out with it. Yeah.
But after you did the short, were there any aspects of this world that you were most excited about kind of exploring greater? I mean, in fact, was there anything in particular you wanted to explore so greatly that it actually was really helped push forward the whole idea of turning this into a feature?
Yeah, well, I think at first we didn't want to have, we didn't want there to be like a love interest. We didn't want there to be hardly any other characters. But then it gets to a point we think, well, there sort of has to be, for there to be conflict and drama. So it was quite fun coming up with those characters and working out what that dynamic would be and how they would react to Brian Charles.
I was quite looking forward to doing the invention, seeing that side of it. What else would he have come up with? And
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that must have been so much fun writing when you were just coming up with as many mad concept inventions.
Yeah, we just like write lists of things and then hand it over to our props department, and then see what they made. Yeah, that was really fun.
Was there anything that you thought of that Brian could have invented, and you thought, actually, hang on a minute, the world is lacking that?
Well, I think the gloves. No, I don't know. It's crap.
Yeah, we had one idea called the gloves. Yeah. Which are a pair of gloves that have another pair of gloves inside. So if it's cold and you're wearing gloves and your friend doesn't have a pair of gloves, you can give them the gloves inside the gloves.
It's all right, isn't it?
I think that might work.
I don't think you're into that.
He's not sold.
No, it's like I prefer it to the pine cone bag. I'm still struggling to see if that will take off.
Oh, right.
There's sort of no point to it, is there? Really?
I like the gloves in the gloves, though.
It's more of a design than an invention, isn't it? The pine cone bag. Yeah. It's like a fashion accessory. Yeah.
But I mean, I asked saying this to Jim as well. But I mean, the film. I mean, obviously, you won that award last night, and the film is so good, and I loved it. And loads of people are kind of reacting to it in such a strong way. And as proud as you will both be of what you achieved, is it still an element of kind of surprise that this little thing that you created, that you're putting out into the world, is being taken in the way that it has, and it is being shown to audiences around the world?
Oh yeah, I mean, the idea of just getting to make a film, or even like getting the script commission, I was like, wow, film always felt like something in another world that other people did that was just untouchable and undoable. And how do you do that? How do you learn that? And so to be able to just have a go at writing it, and then for the people sort of in charge to go, yeah, that's ready to be put on the screen, like, oh, is it?
Yeah.
and then to make it, and then people start reacting to it kindly. It's unbelievable. Don't know how we got here, really.
Yeah, I think back to our early gigs that we did as a comedy show, where often there'd be just 20 people just staring at us, just baffled. So it's quite funny to think how it's evolved into being a film. Yeah. Mad.
And Charles comes across like a bit of a teenager at times, but I was saying this to Jim, that I saw more of my relationship with my dog in the dynamic between you guys. Did you guys take any inspiration from pets you've had? And Chris, with that in mind, did you, when playing the character, did you sort of play it in some ways, how a dog might play it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I had like dogs growing up, and that thing where you come home to them and they just go crazy when you come back to them. And there was a video we saw on YouTube of someone who'd filmed his dog. The guy had left the house, but he'd left the camera running and just filmed his big Labrador. And it was just really funny seeing what this Labrador did when left on its own. It would just wander around. And
we actually filmed that scene. When Brian went off, we kept the camera with Charles just to see what he'd do on his own. And
he went up the stairs and was looking out the window, like waiting for him, and running around. So yeah, he is basically a teenager crossed with the Labrador.
Yeah.
And how was, Chris, let's talk about that outfit quickly. I mean, was it hot in there? Did you keep banging into things? Could you hear? I mean, did you ever think, why did we build him like this?
Oh, I definitely thought that. Yeah. It wasn't hot because Wales was so cold. So in that way, it was quite nice. I had like a little tent to shield me from the weather. But it was just really cumbersome. And I was always banging into things and nearly tripping over, and I needed people to guide me
and feed you.
Feed me, yeah. So between takes, people would just pass snacks through the flap in Charles's shirt. So I'd just be sat there and suddenly some biscuits would appear. Yeah, so that was quite weird. It was weird in every way, really.
And David, I was going to ask, because I interviewed an actor recently from the Jurassic World movie about what it was like to act opposite a kind of an imaginary dinosaur, and how he had to suspend his disbelief and pretend that it was there. But how was it acting opposite Charles? Because was it even harder? Because you know Chris is in there, so, and you know Chris really well. So was it even harder in some ways to sort of suspend your disbelief and believe it's Charles when you know there's a man inside there, a good friend of yours, operating there?
No, not at all. When I slip into Brian and, you know, Charles is up and moving, I genuinely feel like he's this live thing and he exists. And it's so much fun because when we do improv on set, or just I'm constantly trying not to laugh because it keeps surprising me. But there would be times where Chris might just do that with his finger, and I kind of know he's just trying to make me laugh. So
See, it works there.
That's what you do when you act.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I sort of know when he's trying to make me laugh, I think. So yeah.
That must have been a luxury, Chris, that when David was making you laugh, you could corpse and no one would see it.
Yeah, sometimes the problem is sometimes the box would shake. If I was laughing, it would sort of go. So I had to try and keep still. But yeah, it was definitely easier being hidden.
And one of the things I loved about this movie is that there is no explanation necessarily for the fantastical elements. You get films that feel this need to try and make sense of the supernatural. But what I loved about this is that it doesn't. You've just kind of, we just, and the audience just completely buys into it. But when you were creating this story, when you were writing this, put it down onto the page, were you ever trying to think of ways to maybe explain it? Or were you always happy just to say, look, this is what it is, and just hope the audience did take it?
Yeah, we definitely, I remember sitting there going, right, do we need to explain this? How did it come about? But I think in the end, it just feels like if you do stop and tell the audience why, you're kind of like, not interested, get on with the movie. So we just thought it'd be funny if Brian doesn't know how it came about, and then he just comes up with this appalling reason for why. And you can see in Brian's eyes that he doesn't know how it came about. So yeah, we just thought it was a good moment for a funny scene. Yeah.
I loved Brian. I mean, he's just such a good person. I felt like he had a sort of left a sort of lasting effect on me when I sort of left the cinema. David, with that in mind, playing this character and the character you have played sort of before, has he rubbed off on you in any ways? Do you find that his kind of quite blissful outlook on life has had an indelible effect on yourself?
No. No, I'd love to be. I'm too much of a worrier. Too much of a worrier. I'd love to be that positive and just that. I guess there's something in me that keeps, pushing on with writing and filming, and same with him and his inventions, but not really. No.
So no, yeah, but when one door closes, another one opens.
Here we go.
Yeah. But when I was at the screening, the woman, I asked this to Jim as well, that the woman next to me was having a sort of giggling fit to my left. She was finding the whole movie sort of so funny. She was reacting to every kind of joke. And then the guy next to me was finding it very profound. I could tell he had a kind of tear rolling down his cheek. He found it quite emotional. I was wondering what reaction you guys prefer when someone comes up to you after seeing the film. Do you prefer it when someone says they laughed a lot, or do you prefer it when someone says that they cried?
Cry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
No, I do. That's what I aim for with,
get
them caring more. You can laugh. You get bored of laughing. It's tiring.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, we said that just to make it, in my mind, just make it entertaining. But then as it became more emotional, it is good to make people just like a feel-good movie. I guess that's how I always thought of it.
And I mean, the mockumentary format really allows for you in particular, David, to kind of break that fourth wall and give some brilliant sort of looks to camera. But I was just wondering, when sort of thinking of this style in comedy, it's hard not to look to, like The Office, for example. And David, you are a frequent collaborator of Ricky Gervais's. How much does comedy, even now in 2022, still owe to the genius of shows like The Office?
Oh, well, for my generation, like just everyone feels like everyone was influenced by it, and just the mannerisms and just
the awkward pauses.
Yeah. But I know Jim, thank heavens, just made a point. He didn't want to be influenced. He didn't want to do the talking heads so much. He felt like it had been done with Spinal Tap. So he was very much into the modern documentary and trying to show that. So, but absolutely, my God, it's a hell of an influence. Yeah.
And just my final question was, obviously this was a short and now it's a movie, but it does feel like these characters in this world is something that we can dip into again, you know. And I don't mean like a sequel movie, but just this feels like there's ways to delve. It could be a radio play, it could be a web series on YouTube or something. It just feels like these characters have scope to be explored further. Would you guys like to revisit them again in some capacity one day, or do you feel like that itch has been scratched?
Oh no, we definitely would like to revisit them because they're so fun to do. Even being inside that box, well, as long as I have enough breaks, I can keep doing it. But yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it as well. It's a lot of fun coming up with ideas for them. So to be able to get the opportunity to do that again would be brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, guys, and best of luck with the release of the movie.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to say it again. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Take care. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!